Hello all, welcome to our channel Info Cafe. In this video, let's see about the topic of anti-defection law. Why are we seeing this particular topic? Why is it so relevant? Let's go everything one after other. If you turn around the newspaper or news channel in the past 1 week, you often come across this particular terminology, anti-defection law. People are debating in the news channel, even in the newspaper, people are writing in editorial columns about this particular anti-defection law. Why is it so important? As a civil service aspirant, you should know about it because it's an important topic coming under Indian polity. Irrespective of whether you are preparing for UPSC or some other state civil service exam or even some other exam, if you are studying about Indian polity, this particular topic is very, very important. So let's get into it quickly. Why is it so significant now? As I said, in the recent times, in every newspaper as well as in news channel, you often come across this political drama happening in Maharashtra, isn't it? So many things are happening. Many things are still happening. There is no end to it. Let me quickly recap what's the important things happened there. There was a government. It's a coalition government led by CM Uddhav Thackeray. Suddenly, there are rebel MLAs inside the ruling government. They made a split in the party and they stayed aside. Actually, they camped out in a private hotel in Guwahati. They said that we are rebelling MLAs, we are dissatisfied with the current ruling government, the way in which it is performing, the way in which it is ruling the state, everything. Many factors are there. So there was a clear split in the ruling government. So one side says that, see, you people are defecting our government, you will be disqualified as per anti-defection law. The other side, that rebelling side, says that no, more than 66% of MLAs are staying away from the ruling government as per our will, and we won't be disqualified as per anti-defection law. So the point of will they be disqualified or not was debated a lot in the last 1 week. That's why we get into this particular topic also. And there comes the role of governor. Governor said that let you prove your majority in the assembly. Let's do the floor test. But the current ruling party goes against it, against the governor's statement of floor test to the Supreme Court. Finally, Supreme Court also said that let the party go for floor test. But before going for floor test, the previous CM, that is Uddhav Thackeray, resigned from CM post. That government was totally toppled out, and new CM taking oath today, I guess so. So many things are happening, still happening. The drama is still happening. Why I am saying is, see, this type of drama is irrelevant for your UPSC exam or civil service exam, some other civil service exam. But the crux of the problem is very, very important. The name of the party, name of the MLA or MP, those are all irrelevant. But what's the problem? What's the law says? What's the actual reality is? So with this in mind, we are dealing that particular topic of anti-defection law. Okay. Now let's get into it. So before getting into the anti-defection law, we should know what is defection. This law, that is anti-defection law itself, says what is defection. It says clearly to abandon a position or association from the current party to join an opposing party. To put it in a nutshell, it's like an elected MP or MLA cuts away from the current party and simply joining into another party or forming a new party. This type of scenario, we call it as defection. Initially, there is no such a concept of defection. Our framers of constitution did not say anything about anti-defection law or disqualification of elected members, nothing there. But in 1985, under the prime ministership of Rajiv Gandhi, this particular concept of anti-defection law comes into picture in our Indian constitution. So actually, under 10th schedule, this particular law is there. That is anti-defection law as per 52nd constitution amendment. So you need to keep it in mind that numbers, that is 10th schedule is dealing about anti-defection law, and it was happened during the prime ministership of Rajiv Gandhi by 1895 as a part of 52nd constitution amendment. This numerical data you should keep it in mind. Okay. So what is that law says? That's what very important. Okay. So let's see what are all the provisions available in the law. What is this law say? The crux is we need to understand who are all the defectors and who are all not the defectors. What are the exceptions to it? So let's see. This law says the four provisions under which if an elected member is falling down, he will be considered as a defector and he should be disqualified. So what are all they? Let's see. First it says, if an elected MP or MLA is voluntarily resigning from the party, automatically he will be disqualified. So he will be under the category of defector. The second scenario says, if an elected MP or MLA of the current party or ruling party, let's say, he or she is voting against the will of the party or against the whip of the party order. If this is the scenario, that particular legislative member is also considered as a defector and he will be disqualified. The third scenario, let's say there was an independent member who contested election. Let us assume that he won the election, he became MP or MLA. Later, if he joins a new party or another party, means he is automatically disqualified and he is considered as a defector. Similarly, the other scenario, nominated member. Apart from people elected representative, there is a provision in our constitution that either governor or president can nominate a certain members, a certain count of members to a parliament as well as for state legislative assembly. If the nominated members joins any other party after 6 months of becoming MP or MLA, he or she also comes under the category of defector and he or she will be disqualified definitely. So these are all the scenarios our constitution under 10th schedule, that is anti-defection, says that who are all defectors. But there are some exceptions to such scenario also. That is, if more than 2/3 of legislators, that is 66% of legislators leave a party and merge with other party. If that happens, this is not considered as defection and they will not be considered for disqualification. That's why the rebelling MLA says that we are doing everything as per the provisions available in the 10th schedule of our constitution. So we won't be disqualified. Yes, of course they won't be disqualified because the rule says so. And there is another scenario also here. That is, if a chairman or a speaker, generally speaker of an assembly is always from the ruling party. If that particular speaker wants to move away from the ruling party and wants to join in another party, yes, he can do so, but he should resign his post and he should do so. The thing is, he should resign his speaker post or chairman post and then he can leave away from the party and joins other party. In the sense, it is not considered as a defection and that particular speaker was not considered as defector. He cannot be disqualified. So these are all the exceptions available in anti-defection law. So these are all the things we should keep it in mind. So as per the current scenario, the rebelling parties MLAs cannot be considered as a defector because more than 66% of MLAs are breaking from the current ruling party and they joined with other party. So it is not considered as disqualification scenario. So no problem at all. See, the one important thing you should consider is while you are preparing for civil service exams, the name of the party, the name of the leader or name of the MLA MP, those stuffs are irrelevant. Okay, so the crux of this particular problem is important. So that's the reason I'm not naming anybody. Okay, then deciding authority. Okay, this point of whether they will be qualified or disqualified, who can tell? It's not a court first. It's actually the presiding officer of the assembly, that is generally a speaker. Okay, so speaker should tell whether those MPs or MLAs are disqualified or not. But in this particular anti-defection law, there was a loophole, we can say. That is, this law doesn't say anything about time limit. Within this particular time limit, the speaker should they make a decision of whether a particular MLA is qualified or not. Nothing is being said. But recently, some recommendations are made related to this time delay. Both the Supreme Court as well as Vice President, also the Chairman of Rajya Sabha, recommended that if there is a case of defection, the Speaker should make a decision within 3 months. Uh, then, what's the role of Governor? See, the role of Governor is very interesting. We can see the scenario of the role of Governor before 1994 as well as after 1994. Before 1994, especially this case, that is SR Bommai versus Supreme Court of India, the role of Governor is not in a fair manner. That was observed by Supreme Court of India. It's not my statement. What happened before that 1994 is, the Governor can simply strike down the President rule in a state as per his discretionary will. If the Governor feels that the constitution machinery is not working fine, so he feels that if President rule is mandatory for the state, let him do. That's the scenario earlier. So there was a many complaint at that time that the governors are using their discretionary powers to destabilizing the government as per their will. It's not it's not an impartial thing. Likewise, so many complaints floated there. Then this particular famous case, that is SR Bommai versus Supreme Court of India case, the Supreme Court clearly said that governor should not simply strike this president rule into a state as per his own will. Let the governor do the floor test in the assembly. Based on the result of the assembly, let the governor decide. So before going for this kind of constitution provision or democratic provision, simply fixing the president rule inside the state is it's to be prohibited. This is what the Supreme Court order after this particular case, special case. So later, after 1994, no governor is doing this kind of stuff. That is, if some destabilizing situation happens in a current ruling government of a state, the governor is going for a floor test only. This is what happened in current Maharashtra scenario also. So they go for a floor test. The governor made a statement of going for a floor test. Yes, that should happen. That's the reality. What is the significance of having the anti-defection law? See, just imagine if we don't have such anti-defection law. What happens? Let's say there is a state assembly of 234 MLAs. Let's say one MLA is not satisfied with the government performance. He suddenly leaves away the party. If there is no such anti-defection law, likewise if more MLAs are leaving away from the party, means that should not be a stable government. If there is not a stable government in this sense, we need to conduct election frequently. Okay. So one particular advantage is we can have a stable government. We can maintain a stable government because of having this anti-defection law. Our exceptions are there, like in Maharashtra. That's a different case. And yes, as I said, we can prevent frequent elections. If the government is going on for the 5 years, as per the people mandate, no problem. After 5 years, election will happen as per the provisions. Suddenly, if there is a split in the government, then we need to conduct another election. So this kind of unnecessary things can be avoided by having this kind of anti-defection law. And also it reduces the money politics. We know how money is being played in elections, many other stuffs. So this kind of things can be avoided. And it is the responsibility of the MLAs or MP. It's like a teamwork to run the government for the 5 years time. So by having this anti-defection law, this kind of scenarios can be maintained. But there are issues in anti-defection law also. What is it? See, a legislator means either it may be an MP or MLA. He is a representative of a people. If the head of the party or the ruling government is going against the will of the people in this sense, this particular legislator cannot make his own discretion to stand against the party will. If he do so, he will be disqualified. That's what this anti-defection law says. So that's not fair. So this is one particular issue. And also it acts as a hindrance, or it acts as a blockade. It divides the bridge between the people as well as the elected representative. So there is no participation of people there. Once the representative, that I mean either MP or MLA was there in the assembly, he can obey the orders of the party head only, not for the people. People role is very less because of this particular anti-defection law and blind follow of party decision. So whether it's a good or bad, that's a secondary. What the party says you should do. That's the kind of scenario this anti-defection law is giving so. And yes, as I said, democracy means people participation should be there. So this particular law is slowly eroding the democratic values. So these are all the issues available in this anti-defection law. So what's the conclusion? See, this is a democratic government. So there should be a proper balance between the elected representative as well as the people to uphold the democracy. Definitely the current scenario of anti-defection has so much of flaws that should be fine-tuned for the welfare of the people. Okay, so these are all the things that I want to convey related to anti-defection law. I hope that it would be useful for your preparation. And I have a question for you. You just try. And if you have any other provisions, or if you want to make some more statement related to this anti-defection law in this sense, you just post it on the comment section also. I will respond you back. So this is the question. You just try it of your own. So the question is, anti-defection law in our country is still debatable from 1985 onwards. Analyze it and provide your suggestion to improve it. Just to do it as a part of practice, and I will meet you in another topic. Fine. Thank you.